Now, when you've made an important decision, you probably have made a few of those in your life. Maybe if you're married, to get married. If you're at work, when you change job or start a new job. Or when you move home, something really big and life-changing like that. Often you will tell a trusted friend about it, won't you, when you've made that kind of decision. And you'll tell a friend because you've made the decision. And what you want from them is them to understand it, understand why you've made that decision, to be able to talk to you about it, and to be able to be informed about it, to go about your life in light of the decision that you've made. And I think that's what we see God doing to Abraham in the first part of this story. We see, don't we, in verse 17, shall I hide from Abraham what I'm about to do? He's not going to hide it from Abraham. In fact, he's going to confide in him. He's going to share with him about the decision that he's made. And he says in these few verses, doesn't he, 17 to 18, 19, why he's chosen to do that. See in verse 19, I have chosen him. Abraham has been chosen by God to be his friend, to be someone who knows him, to someone who he takes into his confidence. But more than that, more than just being his friend, God wants it for a purpose for Abraham. I've chosen him so that he will direct his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just. The Lord is a God of justice and righteousness. That's how he sees himself. That's how he proclaims himself to us in this passage. And so his reason for sharing with Abraham about what he's going to do to Sodom is he wants him to see more and more that he is a God of rightness and justice. And he wants him to teach his children about that. He wants him to see how important that is. And to live his life in light of God's character that he's going to learn a bit more about through what's going to happen in this passage. And we see in verse 19 as well, don't we, that the result of that, so that the Lord will bring about for Abraham what he has promised. We heard back in Genesis 12 that God's made this wonderful promise to Abraham, a gracious promise, not because Abraham was a great guy, far from it, but a gracious promise to make him a nation who would bring blessing to all the world. And we can see in this verse that the means by which God will do that is by revealing to Abraham more of his character, his righteous and just character. And so as Abraham seeks to order his life and to live in light of who God is, that is the means by which he will bring that blessing to all the nations as he has promised. So it's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Actually, as we look at these verses, as we think about when a really close friend tells us something really important that they've done, we're going to learn in this passage that actually the thing that God's decided to do is a very sobering thing, isn't it? It's a very hard thing to think about. But the reason that he's telling Abraham about it is a wonderful reason. He wants him to see what kind of God he is, a just and right God. He wants him to live in light of it, to teach his children about it. And it is through Abraham doing that that he will bless all the nations through him.